is because it gives us a clear picture of who we are specifically called to care for in a unique and special way beyond our Christian love for others, just like the Ephesian church cared for their widows. So as fellow church members, we have a special responsibility to help support one another's spiritual and practical needs. We are accountable for one another. I mean, this doesn't mean we pick and choose which members we want to be responsible for. We don't play favorites. We don't say, oh, that person is too young or too senior. We don't say, oh, this person is a little awkward. I don't want to talk with them. It's kind of weird. Or I don't like this person straight up. So, no. If they are a member of our church, regardless of who it is, we are responsible to be a loving church family to them. We have a special responsibility for everyone in the church to enact the one another's, right? You've probably heard the one another commands: love one another, bear one another's burdens, forgive one another, confess to one another. And the church is the place that we get to act out all of those things, those special callings. And that's why we have a special responsibility to one another. And this special responsibility exemplifies itself in our commitment to one another. So more on that in our second point right here, right now. Second and last point, church membership is important because it helps us know who we are committed to. Church membership is important because it helps us know who we're committed to. And we'll be going into Hebrews 10 with that. We don't just have a responsibility for one another, but we are committed to each other. We are all in with each other. We're here for one another. And I'll explain the difference between those two things in a little bit. But anyway, Hebrews 10, let's read together. Hebrews 10, 23 to 25. Let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near. So again, context is important whenever we're trying to understand a specific verse or passage. So here in Hebrews, we don't know who wrote it. And there's some funny jokes out there, what's Moses' favorite coffee? Or was the Hebrews? I ruined the joke. Anyway, but we don't know who wrote it, but there's a pretty good guess that this was a Jewish Christian writing to other Jewish Christians. There's some unique perspectives in here. Matter of fact, one of the reasons Hebrews is a great book, I love it, is because it ties together a lot of Old Testament themes with New Testament Jesus, like themes such as angels, priests, sacrifices, and the veil of the temple, and how Jesus either ultimately exemplifies those things or triumphs those things. And the book of Hebrews has a beautiful way of showing us that God has always been the same from the beginning of time to now, through all of Scripture. But anyway, back to the verses. These words here in Hebrews 10, they're written with the purpose of encouraging a local Jewish Christian church or a body of believers. These are encouragements meant to be lived out by the local church, and they're just as applicable for us today. So verse 23 is the first encouragement, or rather exhortation of two in these three verses. The author is encouraging the church to hold fast to the confession of their hope without wavering. And in other words, hold fast onto the hope that is Jesus. Note the plural noun written right at the beginning there, us. Us. The exhortation is to hold fast to Jesus together. Right? Not alone, not in our individual walks of life, but we need each other. Not because nobody has this almighty superpower and resilience to live life or live out their faith on their own. We weren't meant to be lone soldier Christians. We were meant to live out life together, not on our power, but on God's power, because God is faithful.